I'm Frank Hermes, and this is Rocket Electronics. And this is the series of videos that will hopefully orient you to the features and use of the new RockeTiltometer. The RockeTiltometer 2, much like the RockeTiltometer, its predecessor, is designed to inhibit ignition in the event that your rocket should exceed a critical angle. Critical angle is selected by the switches down here at the bottom. Currently it's set for 25 degrees. There are some option switches up here that we'll get to in a little bit. Noteworthy is also the incorporation of an integrated data logger as opposed to the optional data logger before, and also you'll note that the RockeTiltometer now is a single board, totally integrated unit. And it is set up and designed to mount in this orientation. You can see the up arrow, and so we'll go through and get it started up, and we'll pay particular attention to what we call the ultra-safe ignition control circuit, which incorporates several safety features that we'll talk about as I get through this. So first off, we'll simulate that we're turning the system on by twisting these two wires together. And you'll note that the system is initializing, indicated by the blinking LED, and once it initializes, you'll hear some tones. In the event that the RockeTiltometer 2 is buried internally in the airframe somewhere and you won't be able to hear that beeper, we also have terminals here on the board. All circuits on the board are two-terminal terminations, so you shouldn't have to do any off-board splicing. And you can see the flashing indicator here. It's just mimicking what's coming out of the beeper at this point in time, so you can mount that somewhere. The other circuits, terminals that are on the board, down at the bottom on the left there's a 4-point terminal strip, which are your input trigger circuits. You can use a closed contact. You can use a switched ground, such as you would get off of many of the timers and flight computers that are out there. Some of the flight computers and timers actually switch a positive voltage, which would be the other two terminals. So between the two sets of circuits there, you should be able to interface with just about anything that's in your rocket to give a trigger to the RockeTiltometer, indicating that you want to go ahead and fire ignition. And as long as the board hasn't exceeded the critical angle that you set with the switches, then it will go ahead and fire the ignition circuit. If in the course of the rocket flight it has exceeded, you can see the indication here in this LED. If we tilt out past the critical angle, we get the LED to light. Go over the other side here, backwards, forward. So on the terminal strip to the right, we have 4 sets of two terminals. One's for the ignition battery. There's an ignition battery on switch, and there's an arming switch, and then your igniter. The 3 beeps that you're hearing when we actually go, and so you can hook up your battery and igniter while the rocket is still in a prep position. For example, if you're out on launch and you've got it laying down and you're making all your final connections, the whole idea of this ultra-safe circuitry was to allow you to connect the igniter at that time and not worry about it.